the lead up to this fight, I said, I bet the main event is the fight of the night. Didn't see that coming, but not shocked either. I mean, you go in and dominate the way that he dominated. If you can do it the first round, more likely you can do it the second and throughout the rest of the fight.
Khamzat Chimaev dominated Dricus Du Plessis at UFC 319 to become the new middleweight champion, though some labeled the fight boring due to its one-sided nature. But make no mistake, this wasn't just another main event. This was the crowning of a new force in the UFC. And the way Chimaev did it has left fans, fighters, and even Dana White with mixed emotion. Tonight, we're diving deep into what happened inside the octagon by crowning a new champion, the shocking stats that broke UFC history, and who, if anyone, can stop Chimaev's reign of terror at 18.5 pounds.
That guy is strong, couldn't finish. Respect that guy. The only champion who was saying my name. This guy has big heart. Real lion. African real lion. Thank you, brother.
Well, Khamzat, enjoy this moment. Congratulations, sir. You're the new middleweight champion of the world.
Thank you very much.
Stick with us until the end because the names being floated as contenders might surprise you. Let's start with the obvious, the fight itself. On paper, Du Plessis was supposed to be the toughest test of Chimaev's career. A gritty South African warrior who had out-toughed Robert Whittaker, battered Sean Strickland, and dethroned Israel Adesanya. DDP was the man who couldn't be broken. But once the cage door shut, the script flipped. Chimaev smothered him with relentless pressure, takedowns, and top control. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't highlight reel material, but it was suffocating. Imagine trying to breathe with a bear sitting on your chest for 25 minutes. That's what Du Plessis went through. And here's the stat that tells the story.
Does this win in a way, like the way you won, almost prove something more? Like a lot of people are questioning your cardio. Can you go 5 rounds? All that stuff. Like, does it feel good to kind of shut those people up a little bit?
I don't care what people think about doing my thing. So, like you said, how many strikes I landed on him, how many takedowns I has there.
Chimaev landed 529 total strikes. Yes, 529. That number obliterates Max Holloway's previous record of 47 against Calvin Kattar. But here's the catch. Not every strike was fight-ending. Most were short punches, elbows and constant pressure. It was death by 1,000 cuts, not a nuclear bomb. That's why some fans booed, and even Dana White later admitted it wasn't the kind of main event he likes to promote. Now here's where things get spicy. Dana White loves finishes. He loves highlight reel knockouts and submissions that blow up on social media. What he doesn't love, 5-round grinds that test patience. After the fight, Dana was clearly unimpressed, saying he wanted more urgency and a finish from Chimaev.
Incredible energy in the crowd, incredible fight itself. Khamzat's performance, I mean, was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Give us your takeaway of it. And did you see before this fight that being the possible way it was going to play out?
No. The lead up to this fight, I said, I bet the main event is the fight of the night.
And it's not the first time Dana has been tough on dominant wrestlers. Think back to Khabib in his early UFC days. Same criticism, different fighter. But here's the irony. What Dana calls boring, others see as unbeatable dominance. And that's where the division might be in trouble. Because if nobody can stop Chimaev's wrestling, we may have just entered a long and frustrating era for every middleweight contender. Michael Bisping didn't hold back either. The former champ and UFC analyst called Chimaev's title win a disaster for the division. Not because Chimaev is weak, but because he's too strong. According to Bisping, only one man alive might have the skill set to challenge him.
So, give me your impressions. Like, what did you think of the performance? Did it play out, I assume, probably not exactly how you thought it would?
Nah, not at all. What I thought was going to happen, but it was very, very impressive. It might have been the most exciting thing we've all ever watched, but it's crazy that he was able to control Dricus like that for 5 rounds.
Reinier de Ridder, the Dutch submission wizard and multiple-time one championship title holder. De Ridder is long, technical, and dangerous off his back, a style that could at least force Chimaev into deeper waters. But here's the question. Would the UFC even bring in De Ridder for a super fight? And even if they did, would it be enough? Because as Bisping pointed out, even RDR would struggle against the sheer physicality, pace, and pressure that Chimaev brings. Meanwhile, the middleweight contenders are already lining up and talking big. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez has been on a tear, riding a win streak that's made him one of the hottest names in 18-5. After UFC 319, he declared he could drown Chimaev with his relentless gas tank and grappling. Old words, but at least Fluffy isn't afraid of the chaos.
This man fled his country. He went to Sweden. He had a great life. But this man goes back to Chechnya, sucks off a dictator, sucks him off, lets his son beat him up. And the leash got too tight. Too many G-Wagons. And when it came down to go a little deeper and suck a little more.
Sean Strickland, never one to stay quiet, insisted he's the only man capable of beating Chimaev. Strickland's boxing-heavy style and durability could test the champ. But most analysts see the same problem. What happens once Chimaev takes him down? Kyle Borao and Nassourdine Imavov are also circling. Both are young, skilled, and well-rounded. But are they seasoned enough to handle 5 rounds with Boers? That's a different question entirely. The problem for all these contenders is simple. None of them have faced someone who can blend wrestling, pressure, and relentless pace the way Chimaev does.
Khamzat fighting against Dricus. Who do you think he wins?
I think Khamzat is gonna win because I don't see anyone preparing properly for Khamzat. They are bringing wrestlers to train them to defend takedowns and all that, but Khamzat doesn't do the normal stuff. Khamzat doesn't do wrestling. He does MMA wrestling. It's different. We need to understand his system.
And that makes every matchup look like an uphill climb. What about the man himself? Chimaev was blunt in his post-fight comments. He admitted Dana wanted a finish, and even apologized for not delivering one. But he also made it clear he was never in danger. Even when Du Plessis scrambled late in the fight and briefly got top position, Chimaev shrugged it off, saying it only happened because he chased a submission and slipped. In his words, he's ready to die before being submitted. That's the mindset of a man who doesn't believe he can be beaten. And he's already looking ahead. Chimaev wants his first title defense in Abu Dhabi, and Dana White has already said yes. That means we could see him headlining another monster card within months.
On the crucifix, it's a weird one, right? They're landing strikes. He's landing like 200 punches around, but they're not quite hard enough to end the fight. Are you glad the referee doesn't wave a fight off in that?
Listen, I don't know how hard they are, and I don't want to know how hard they are. Nobody wants to be in a crucifix getting punched in the head like that. It's got to be the most frustrating,
To put this into perspective, the UFC middleweight division has never seen a wrestler like Chimaev at the top. Anderson Silva ruled with striking artistry. Israel Adesanya dominated with precision. Even Dricus Du Plessis carved his path with grit and unpredictability. But Chimaev, he's something different. He's not here to outstrike you or outpoint you. He's here to break you, round after round, second after second, until there's nothing left. If his reign continues like this, we may look back on UFC 319 as the start of an era where the middleweight division was locked down tighter than ever before. So let's ask the big question. Who, if anyone, can stop him? Anthony Hernandez has cardio and grappling, but does he have the size and raw strength? Sean Strickland has toughness and volume, but can he survive the takedowns? Renier de Ridder has world-class jiu-jitsu, but can he get past the UFC's politics to even get the fight? Or do we need to look outside the division entirely? Could an Islam Makhachev or a light heavyweight like Jiri Prochaska ever meet him in a super fight down the road? Right now, it feels like every option has more questions than answers. For the UFC, this is both a blessing and a headache. On one hand, Chimaev is a polarizing superstar, loved by some, hated by others, but guaranteed to get attention. On the other hand, if he wipes out contender after contender in suffocating, grinding fashion, casual fans may get restless. Dana White knows this. That's why his reaction was so raw. He knows a dominant champion can be good for business, but only if the fights still excite people, and that's the balancing act. Chimaev now faces, keep winning, but find a way to make it entertaining. At UFC 319, Khamzat Chimaev didn't just beat Dricus Du Plessis. He made history. He shattered records, silenced doubters, and sent a message to the entire middleweight division. This is my cage now. But here's the real debate. Was this a boring grind or a masterclass in dominance? And more importantly, who's the man to finally test it? Anthony Hernandez, Sean Strickland, Renier de Ridder, or is nobody safe? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know who you think deserves the next shot at Ports. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more fight analysis, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update from Octagon Insider. Because trust me, this middleweight storm is just getting started. See you in the next round.